Hello. So this one I think is just going to be more focused on one class, and it's kind of a gripe that I'm having with it ever since 3.0 dropped. And even without 3.0, it's just kind of a lack of variety that Vanguard gets. And the gameplay you're seeing, if you haven't noticed yet, is the Vanguard class. What I'm going to do is quickly go and talk a bit about what needs to change with Vanguard as a whole. So pre 3.0 Vanguard was a pretty strong PvP class. Before 3.0, when you hooked a player, they would get stun locked up until the dropkick landed. The dropkick itself has stagger and breaks through their guard. It's a good way to get through a bulwark shield, and if you're with another player, a friendly player, allows them to severely damage if not kill the bulwark. All in all, from the start of the hook to the dropkick itself, it was a very long stun and always guaranteed. It was always a guaranteed kill with little effort. Now, when 3.0 dropped, it changed the hook so it only slows when it lashes onto another player, but the dropkick itself remains the same for the most part. In a 1v1 scenario, more skill will be needed on the Vanguard's part to come out on top, though this change means that regardless of skill level, a full health and armor Vanguard will never win a 1v1 against a full armor, health, and if they have the Halo shield up against a heavy, if you try and use your hook to open up that encounter. So you really need to bait the heavy into using their shield before you go in with the hook. And if you're good on using whatever cover you have available, you should be able to come on top after the shield has dropped on the heavy. Then you can go in for the kill. Now, one drawback for the Vanguard in PvP is that its loadout options are very limited as opposed to its PvE loadout operations. Currently, it only has access to the Instigator Carbine and Oculus Bolt Carbine. The Oculus is the weapon you see in the footage, which is just your standard SMG, full auto, fast firing, actually does really good damage in close quarters combat. Not the greatest when you're trying to get ranged, but it's a beast in close quarters. Now, the Instigator Carbine, which is a 3-round burst carbine, isn't available until you're level 17. This means you have no options to choose from, and even then your options open up to only one other weapon. So Vanguard is the one class in PvP that's kind of in the backseat right now as far as your loadouts go, because you only get 2 ranged weapons, you only get 1 pistol for your sidearm, and you only get 2 melee weapons. So in total, Vanguard has the fewest amount of options to choose from with only 5 weapons. And that's kind of a big deal because Vanguard is one of 3 ranged classes you can choose from. The other 2 ranged classes are Tactical and Heavy. Tactical is the only class that isn't a specialized unit, so they have access to 8 weapons in total, but several of those require you to level up the Tactical Marine to gain access to those weapons. Okay, let's change it up a little bit. So I'm just going to actually show you what, I guess, visual representation would be better than just explaining it. So here we see good old Vanguard in a nice looking, he actually doesn't look too bad as a Scythe of the Emperor. So anyway, we'll go straight into it. So we're looking at the PvP portion of the loadouts. We're going to start with Tactical and move our way down and just see which classes, or not which classes, but which class has the least amount of weapons to choose from. So Tactical, their primary weapon, they get 8 of these weapons to choose from. That's a huge number of a variety of weapons to choose from, which is stupid because as a range class, every single range class should have access to a nice variety of weapons. And let's see, for the pistol, for some reason Tactical only has access. I think every single class, regardless, should have access to the bolt pistol, the heavy bolt pistol, and the plasma pistol. I don't know. They haven't said if the Volt Kite pistol is going to be universally available for each class, or if it's going to be only available for the 2 melee classes, Assault and Bulwark. I mean, it would make sense for the Assault and Bulwark to have those, give them a nice piece of strong kit to add to their loadout. I think honestly a Volt Kite pistol would be pretty good for Assault and Bulwark, but for now it's just a 1 pistol for Tactical, and then for their melee they only have access to the chainsword, and that is also the same for PvE as well. So in total, 8, 9, 10. So they get access to 10 weapons in total. Assault, melee oriented, they have 2 pistols and 3 melee. So that's 5 weapons in total. but they have a bigger variety of melee weapons to choose from. I do believe that the roadmap mentioned they were going to add in another melee weapon. I think it might be like a power axe, probably. So, right now, Assault has the least amount of melee options to choose from, but like I said, it's melee options, not ranged options. Vanguard is a ranged class. Look at this. They only have 2 options for their primary weapon. Oculus Carbine and Instigator Carbine. This is basically just a standard SMG. The Instigator is a 3-round burst weapon. So I have not been killed by one yet. I have not seen it being used in PvP, so I don't know how well it does. But look at that. Just 2 weapons for their primary. Same thing for the secondary, just the bolt pistol. And for their melee, they have access to the chainsword and the knife. So it's nice to see that they get access to a chainsword as well, but they do a little bit better with the combat knife. So in total, that's 5 weapons for a ranged class, mind you, as opposed to the 10 that's available for another ranged class, a tactical marine. Granted, the tactical marine is supposed to be an all-arounder. It's not a specialized unit, so it makes sense for them to have the most amount of weapons to choose from, but still, Vanguard should not be this limited, because in PvE and operations, Vanguard can also use the melter rifle. This bad boy. Which, in Warhammer, the melter rifle is the shotgun of the universe. So it'd be nice for a Vanguard whose sole shtick is to be close quarters, and they don't have access to the melter rifle, a close quarters weapon. Okay, let's do Bulwark. Bolt pistol, plasma pistol. Again, every single class should have access to the 3 current available pistols. And then for their melee, again, 3 melee choices, so that's 5 weapons in total. But again, they're melee focused. Sniper. Sniper is the 3rd ranged class. And look at this. They get 4 weapons. 2 of them are sniper rifles. But look at the variety. Look at your playstyles. You have a stalker bolt rifle, which is just a semi-auto weapon, but it's scoped, but still semi-auto. And of course you get the bolt carbine. So you get a nice variety to choose from for the sniper class. I don't get it. You can either be long range or you can be close quarters, or you can be somewhere in between. I don't get it. It's just not fair. And they get access to the Chameleon Cloak, which means they're a monster in close quarters. They can beat Vanguards easily with their Chameleon Cloak. It's not a good comparison between these two. An actual close range specialist versus a long range specialist that has access to be a close range support or somewhere in between. Vanguard doesn't even get the option to use a shotgun, the melter rifle. That's just stupid. And of course, they only get access to the knife, which obviously kind of makes sense for their playstyle. And obviously just the 1 bolt pistol. And then heavy, the 4th and final ranged class of the game. Look at this. They get 3 primaries. They get obviously your standard machine gun, your LMG. They too get a melter rifle. This is the multi-melta. This is just an oversized shotgun, preferably used by the Sisters of Battle. But he's using it, so it makes sense. It's all good. But yeah, they too get a melter rifle. Then of course a heavy plasma rifle. So they get 3 primaries, 2 secondaries, no melee, because they're not their melee weapon actually doubles as their primary weapon, but their melee isn't that great. But still, heavy and tactical get a melter rifle. Sniper obviously doesn't need a melter rifle. I mean, they get the fuse, the last fusil. It's a stupidly powerful weapon to use, but still, sniper is the the one class that allows you 3 different playstyles to choose from. The heavy, you get 2 different playstyles to choose from. You get to be close quarters, or not close quarters. You get to be mid range. This is more. It lobs plasma shells, so you have to. It's kind of more like a grenade launcher type of thing. So you have to lob it. So you have to arc your shots. But this one obviously is if you want to go into close range, tactical. Also gets the option to be long range, medium range, close range, Close quarters range, I guess it's the same thing, but still, I mean, just look at their options. And then what can I do for Vanguard? I mean, I can't use a shotgun. Would be shotgun. The melter rifle would be perfect for these guys for Vanguard. Use your hook on a heavy, and then just destroy the heavy shield with the melter rifle. I mean, I just don't get it. So when it comes down to who has the least amount for the range, tactical has 10. Vanguard has 5. Sniper 4. 5, 6 weapons in total, but again, they have 4 options for ranged. And then heavy, 5. Look at that, they have 3 options for ranged, with even more options to go close quarters or mid range or long range. You can actually do a little bit of long range with this thing, the heavy bolter, if you kind of fire and burst, but it's not really ideal. But yeah, Vanguard, two SMGs, 1 full auto SMG, 1 burst fire SMG. So I'm really hoping that they adjust the loadouts in PvP, at least for Vanguard. So as it stands, Vanguard has the fewest amount of ranged weapons to choose from. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about for this video.